Welcome back, everyone. Today's lineup is nothing short of explosive as we dive into the latest drama that could turn British politics on its head. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has unexpectedly opened the door to reparations talks for Britain's role in the transatlantic slave trade, issued a tense warning to Iran amidst Middle Eastern conflict, and faced intense backlash over Labour's climate and dietary proposals. And if that weren't enough, a Labour MP is now caught up in a scandal following a late-night altercation. Don't miss any of this. Hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell to stay on top of every twist as it happens. To kick things off, let's tackle the big shocker: Prime Minister Keir Starmer's statement on reparations. At a press conference during the Commonwealth Summit, Starmer admitted it's time to discuss reparations for Britain's historical involvement in the abhorrent transatlantic slave trade. However, Starmer also insisted none of the discussions have been about money, underscoring that the UK is not prepared to offer cash reparations. Starmer attempted to sidestep financial reparations by emphasising that only a single paragraph in the Commonwealth's communiqué touches on reparatory justice. But even a conversation about reparations has sparked fierce debate and criticism, especially within his own party. Commonwealth leaders, particularly from the Caribbean, are pushing back against Starmer's conversations-only approach, viewing financial reparations as essential to righting historical wrongs. Bahamian Premier Philip Davis voiced his opinion, saying, "Knowing what the past is should inform your decision-making towards the future." And in a pointed comment to the press, he called for a more genuine discussion rather than vague references to conversations that lack substance. Starmer's decision has also deepened the rift within Labour, especially among backbench MPs. Figures like Bel Ribeiro Addy are concerned Labour's reluctance to apologise stems from fears of potential financial liability. Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary David Lammy, who in 2018 publicly supported reparations, is under renewed scrutiny. Conservative MP Andrew Rosendale didn't hold back, accusing Lammy of damaging the economy with what he called a far-left reparations agenda. Rosendale pointedly challenged Starmer, urging him to clarify if he truly represents the UK's interests on the world stage. With Labour's budget announcement looming, these internal divisions over reparations could become an even bigger problem for the party. Adding to Starmer's list of foreign policy headaches, last night Israel launched a bold, late-night strike on Tehran, escalating tensions in the Middle East. Reacting swiftly, Starmer issued a terse four-word warning to Iran: Iran should not respond. His comment comes in the wake of US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's affirmation that America's support for Israel is ironclad. Starmer emphasized that Israel has the right to defend itself, while also calling for restraint, stating, "We need to avoid further regional escalation." While Starmer's unwavering support for Israel may reassure some, it risks alienating factions within Labour. Historically, the Labour Party has held diverse views on the Israel-Palestine conflict, and Starmer's vocal support for Israel could risk further division. Balancing these foreign policy issues amidst a divided party base is no easy feat, and Starmer now finds himself in an especially delicate situation, navigating both international pressure and domestic opposition. Meanwhile, on the home front, Starmer's government faces growing public anger over Britain's climate policies and dietary recommendations. The Climate Change Committee, CCC, the official climate advisory body, recently recommended that Britons cut their meat and dairy intake by half to meet the UK's net zero targets. This radical shift could see taxes on meat products, a reduction in livestock subsidies, and even restrictions on advertising. This proposal has triggered a firestorm of backlash. Shadow Energy Secretary Claire Coutinho issued a warning of potential public unrest should the government push too hard, too fast. She voiced concerns that imposing lifestyle changes on everyday Britons could have serious repercussions, especially when other countries like China are ramping up emissions. If we increase the cost of energy, make people change their diets, or generally make life hard for people, it will lead to public unrest, Coutinho warned. Farmers are also up in arms. David Handley, who leads the Farmers for Action group, denounced the CCC's approach, saying, "The methane from farming is a fraction of the emissions from transport and industry." Still, the 350 argues that drastic action is essential. CCC Chair Piers Forster noted that the UK's ability to meet its climate commitments depends on significant reductions in meat consumption. Forster argued that cutting down on meat not only reduces greenhouse gas emissions, but could also position the UK as a global leader in climate reform. Labour's position on dietary regulation, however, could prove politically costly, especially among rural and working-class voters who view these changes as unnecessary interference. Starmer's challenge here is clear. How can his government balance ambitious climate goals with the concerns of everyday Britons who fear being left behind? If these issues weren't enough, Labour is now facing a PR crisis after a late-night incident involving Labour MP Mike Amesbury, who allegedly assaulted a constituent. The altercation reportedly occurred at a Cheshire taxi rank, where witnesses claim Amesbury smacked the individual to the ground. Cheshire police were alerted to the alleged assault, with the incident now under investigation. A spokesperson for the police confirmed, at 2:48 a.m, we received reports of an assault on Main Street in Frodsham. Inquiries are ongoing. Amesbury claims he acted in self-defence, describing the situation as a response to feeling threatened after a night out. In a statement, Amesbury said, "I will fully cooperate with any inquiries if required by Cheshire Police." The Labour Party, while cautious, has expressed support, with officials stating Amesbury contacted police proactively. However, the incident is undeniably a PR nightmare for Labour, coming at a time when Starmer is trying to navigate complex international and domestic issues. These unfolding controversies are casting a long shadow over Starmer's leadership. From Commonwealth reparations discussions to balancing foreign policy tensions with Iran and even dietary regulations for climate, Labour's cohesion is under strain. Starmer's handling of these issues over the coming weeks will set the tone for his government's future stability, but the question remains, can his leadership withstand this onslaught of crises, or will these compounded controversies tear his administration apart? With Labour's budget announcement just around the corner, tensions are likely to heighten. The pressure on Starmer is tremendous, as he faces scrutiny not only from the opposition, but from within his own party. His government's resilience will be tested as it grapples with thorny issues spanning historical accountability, environmental reform, and an embattled MP, all of which could alienate Labour's base. Starmer's reputation and credibility as Prime Minister are hanging in the balance, with political analysts suggesting that his next steps could either salvage Labour's agenda or lead to an unravelling within the party. What are your thoughts on these developments? Are Starmer's responses enough to address the challenges facing his administration, or do you think he's taking on more than he can handle? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for all the latest political drama and analysis.